Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo,
BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. Welcome to this 50 minutes of experience. Today I'm with Arianna Del Moro, on lomography Ariannapaloma, that I discovered her probably there, and from Italy, Florence. Welcome to this podcast.
Ciao Emiliano, thank you very much for inviting me.
So it's really nice for me to have you. Today, we talk a bit about experience, not only as photographer, but more as consumer of this overdosing of images. And
definitely.
Definitely, I think you are also our producer of photography, because on lomography you had kind of 1,100 picture. And
yes, I was very productive.
I would imagine that our pictures selected, and if we will count all the picture, you do it even also in digital, we will get crazy. But anyway, as you know, I would like if you can tell me something about you, as I told you, not only as photographer, but more as a person, and tell us who you are, what you're doing, how you spend your time.
Okay, so I didn't prepare a presentation, so I just go with the flow. Well, we are here to talk about photography, so maybe we can start from here. And as you said, I have this profile on lomography, and this is the only website I have, because basically I just did analog photography. That's it. I don't do any digital, except, well, for daily pictures that everyone can take. But I approached photography basically 10 years ago, and I started with these analog cameras, and lomography was very popular at the time. So I started both cameras from lomography and their films, and I basically experimented. So that's why I have so many pictures on my profile, because I just start taking a lot of pictures, basically of simple subjects. So my friends, my city, cities I visited. I traveled a lot at the time, and you can see pictures taken in Brussels, in Lisbon, in London. Those were my cities, and Florence, of course, because that's where I live and still live. And people, a lot of people, like portraits, my cat. A lot of pictures of my cat, and yes, a lot of different like styles. This because I really liked the idea of experimenting with a film. So like developing film, using slides, color, infrared. There was plenty of possibilities, but I just did it out of passion. There was no any pretension, being an artist. So I can't define myself as an artist or a visual artist, nothing. And maybe now I'm just, as you said before, a consumer of these pictures and visual images that we see a lot everywhere.
So the first things come up to my mind is that you have a sentence really funny and interesting. If I want to live in a place where I only need one pair of shoes, why? And this is remember me, that game. I think I don't know if it's a really Italian games, but this game, yeah. If you were going on an island, what would you take with you? No, and in this case, it's a pair of shoes. Why a pair of shoes?
The only thing I need is a pair of shoes. Well, because I am a simple person, a very, very simple person, and I hate buy clothes, any sort of clothes. maybe I'm not this typical woman that, I don't know, maybe it's just a very ugly stereotype, but you know, I don't fit this stereotype. So you know, I just it was just a simple way to say that I like simple things, like one pair of shoes. You don't need anything else. So I wish I could live in a place where, you know, everything
Just to
is
don't
so
destroy,
simple that you just need a pair of shoes. That's it.
just to don't destroy your feet, let's say. Okay.
Yeah, maybe also.
Okay, so I will take from this sentence that you're usually walking a lot. That's right.
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
perfect. So I will say before to start this podcast, you told me that you stopped to taking picture.
Mhm.
In which terms you stopped to taking picture? That you don't take any picture anymore, or you stopped to develop film?
Well, basically, I stopped taking pictures in a serious way, quotation marks. Like before, I was very much into it. I was very methodical. So, you know, I used to buy films and develop and put it on my website and do everything on a daily or weekly basis. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't use my analog cameras anymore. Very, very rarely. Of course, I take pictures with my phone. I have an Instagram profile as everyone, but this is my personal profile. And that's where I upload pictures. You know, I think that everyone do it. So yeah, when I say that I stopped, it's the analog photography thing.
And
It was
I'm really curious why you what came to your life to stop?
Well, by that time, I had a lot of time because I was a student and I had a part-time job. So I just had to study and work, and I had a lot of time to take pictures and do all the process that I mentioned before. So developing, blah, blah, blah. Now you know, it's been 11 years past and I have many jobs, not photography related. And so, you know, my career had a completely different path. And unfortunately, I don't have time anymore. That's
So you can say us which is your career, or it's a kind of
yes.
secret?
No. It's not anything special. I'm an interpreter and a researcher. Recently, I started as a researcher, and my field of work is languages. So I am a sign language interpreter, and that's also what my research is focused on.
Okay. Yeah, this is nice. I mean, in a way or another, you jumped from a communication to another.
Yes. Well,
can see
if you
that.
think about it, it's a visual communication as well because sign language is visual.
Yeah.
So I think it's
That's why it's a really curious. And have you ever dreamed to I don't know, work even also on visual communication in these terms in photography as an interpreter?
As an interpreter, having two careers, or what do you mean? Having one career, choosing one?
We talk about dream. So then have you ever dreamed about work in photography? I don't know, not as a photographer, or maybe as a photographer, or I don't know, to keep on.
Yeah, well, yes, definitely. Yes, I am an artistic person. Always, you know, when you have one side of your personality, it just it doesn't completely disappear. You know, there is just one side that takes over the other one because, you know, it's life. So you have to pick one side. But my artistic side is still there, and of course, it comes out every time it can. So I draws, I do things like I really like graphics, and why not? I wish I could do this. I could have time to, you know, go back to my
Let's say
photography.
probably after this
Yeah.
podcast you will start again.
Maybe. Why not? This is a very good input you're giving me. Definitely.
I think it's interesting to watch gallery in lomography. For sure, it's a gallery of many different things. What I
Mm-hmm.
like of lomography in a way is uh, you have the choice to don't take too serious the people are there, but in the same
Mm-hmm.
time you can take really serious people are there. It's
Mm-hmm.
so intimate in a way that you can ride your analysis or your attention to something
Mm-hmm.
that you don't use to see in a world of photography. And this is
Mm-hmm.
what I really like. And in a way, it's an open world of the world of the person showing you something. And
Mm-hmm.
the difference between lomography, for example, and Instagram, that on Instagram it's easier that people search about you, but in lomography, probably it's not really easy that people search of you because it's
Mm-hmm.
not really mainstream, no? And
Yeah.
you keep also a bit more dirty what you are the organization that you choose to put there. Sometimes you put stuff there that you really don't think are the best work of your life, but
Mm-hmm.
you do it without having the problem or to
Yeah.
think about, yeah, other will see that, so this will talk about me, because
Yeah.
also the community in a way is interested to see this scattered part of the work. And
Yeah. Definitely.
it's really funny that you have this picture of you holding this Diana, this mini Diana. It was one of the
Mm-hmm.
camera I bought, I don't know, 5 years ago. I was working, I was doing this part-time job in the kitchen and I had never time to go out shooting pictures. So then, okay, I needed a camera I had to put in my pocket easily.
Mm-hmm.
I bought this camera and I started to take picture of even when I was working in the kitchen. So of the
Uh-huh.
plate was coming in the kitchen, the stuff, what else was happening? I was starting to take this picture with this and remember me a lot of stuff really funny. And I want to talk with you today, probably not more as a photographer, but more as an interpreter. So
Mm-hmm.
as I know that now, and I'm really curious to know what do you think is interesting today in using photography?
Oh, wow, this is a complicated question. In using photography,
Yeah,
like in like making photography or being a receiver, I don't understand.
uh, I mean in both sides,
In both sides.
in the way of receiving for sure. I mean we are in the both sides, no? So we are the
Mm-hmm.
ones they catch, but in the same time we are also the one they receive. I mean this is
Well,
something
yeah, yeah,
probably changed, no, in the history. Before there was the one producer and then the other one was the consumer, but today we are
yeah,
consumer and producer in the same time.
yeah. Well, you mentioned two very different ways of doing photography. That it's Instagram and nomography. And for me, the thing that I liked, and the reason why I focused on analog photography was um, maybe it's a little bit, I don't know, simple to say, but uh, the process itself, because now it's very easy to take pictures. You can take picture now of everything. But if you have 30 shots on one roll, you take twice, you think twice before, press and shoot the picture.
Yeah.
So for me, this is the value that the analog photography gives to the medium of the photography itself. And I think that we are losing it now in this moment. Uh, Maybe the process is different. I know nothing about photography, so maybe I'm saying something very stupid. I have no idea.
You're not saying something stupid. I think I mean, it's a topic that for sure you will listen many times in my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That it's always there in a way. The topic, especially today, I'm discovering a lot of photographer that they choose to restart with the film photography or for
Mm-hmm.
this reason or another. I have many point of view about today. Also, I did a podcast with another Italian photographer from Rome that we was discussing about film photography. And as I said there, maybe I keep short now, and I think this is really probably not logical because it's not there in front of you. It's for sure you have the same possibilities, digital and film. And you are I think this is something that is not repeated many times. Probably no one knows, but the tools is not the photo, it's not the camera, but is you. And you keep the choice if you wanna. I mean, I shooted a lot of film, and I shooted more roughly than a camera digital. And I think, yeah, for sure, in a way, you are more holded on yourself and think twice, three times, four times what you have to shoot. But that's also show us another things that we are slave as a consumer in this case. We will have, let's say, million to invest on film photography, then film photography that become a digital photography. I mean, everything is about our limits. So then, yeah, most of the people say, yeah, they have to think twice about taking picture in film. But I think it's always about point of view and the way to use the camera. If we would go to watch, for example, archiving picture of a Magnum or many reporter, blah blah, we will say, and we will see the every contact sheet had the same subject in 36 poses. So that means on 36 picture, they was just using 36 picture, 36 shot on the same subject, and there was not a problem, to think twice, because the point is this: when you want to got a picture, the real picture, you have to shoot that film.
Yeah, you're right.
To go to watch, and it's like,
maybe this is more for professional photographers. Just come to my mind that if you are just a regular photographer, like not professional, maybe you think twice. But as you said, it's the materials. Yes.
It depends on the importance of the images. Let's say I don't know. You are in a situation that you want to catch a moment, but you don't know if you catch this moment. And then to be sure about that, you should 36 poses about this moment. In a way, I think it's a self-reflection and a real way to thinking when you then select the images and you think twice about the real one picture that represents the entire moment. And this is, I think, much more complicated, no? And what make film photography in a way struggling more than digital. But I think the same problem you can have in film photography, you can have in the same in the digital. Let's say, for example, in the digital today, if you don't have the money to buy a camera really professional, let's say, for example, an Hasselblad or a Leica, you cannot take a really good picture in the night. I mean, I talk about night, and not a night in the city, night in the village, and to have a portrait of someone, and was the same problem in film photography. I mean, if you want to buy a film roll, it's 6,400 ASA, cost 50 euro for 24 pieces. And and you need to experiment a bit because no one use anymore this kind of film. But I think it's really interesting in a way, the overdose of photography we have today, because in a part we are allowed to see a lot, and from another part, we are, if we really keep on the images, we could learn much more about the world. And the other part is the negative part, let's say, is that we are more ignorant than before, because
Mm-hmm.
we are more blind than before, because we watch too much, we don't watch good too much, and
Mm-hmm.
then it's like we are in a crowd, and in this crowd we don't keep focused on something, and this
Mm-hmm.
can be the negative part. But it's everything about how we manage the tools, principal tools that is ourselves. No?
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting point of view. Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about things I'm curious about. If you will choose to use photography today, okay, what will
Mm-hmm.
change? I mean, how you think will be uh, the body of your pictures?
If I would start today doing
Yeah,
pictures again,
yeah.
well, I think I would go back doing what I like doing before. That was basically taking portraits and mm, yeah, I mean, places like um, you can take a portrait of a place if this place means something to you. If that particular, I don't know, square or a street is you are very connected emotionally, you can take a portrait of that. If it's even if it's not, you know, a person. When I say portrait, I specifically refer to people. But I think I would, you know, go back to that, and because that's what I like about photography, like the memory of someone, the connection you make with that person when in the act of taking the picture.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you. I mean, I always think about, and I always hope that someone understand the open call I do it, and understand that when I talk about portraying or self-portraying,
Mm-hmm.
understand that there is much more than just take a picture of your face.
Yeah.
And usually it's not easier to get in touch with people, understand that.
Yeah.
So let's do it that. I don't do it from a lot of time. I usually challenge some people in the podcast, and I'm really interesting to know how you would approach it to a self-portrait topic. So how would you self-reflect yourself in a visual?
Well, the if you see the pictures I took of myself, they are all took at the mirror a lot of times. Plenty of picture with me with the mirror. Maybe because it was easy, or maybe because this is what actually it's a portrait of yourself. It's a way you see yourself. And if you do it not on photography, you have the mirror. Uh, yeah, yeah, I don't know.
I challenge yourself. I challenge you, and I ask you, okay, try. You have some months, I think.
Mm,
Yeah, you have time, no? When you
mhm,
have time, try
mhm.
to self-portray yourself. I mean, try to get back to photography. Also in
I
digital.
would
Doesn't
definitely do.
matter. Doesn't matter if it's digital, it's lomography. What else
Well,
is it?
sometimes, of course, I do it. You know, I don't publish it, I don't put it on my lomography, but sometimes I do it. So yeah, and
Uh,
the mirror is still there, you know, so that's why
and
I
and,
answer the
and
mirror.
the challenge is, so do it this research, and let's
Hmm.
try to have a podcast where we watch at this picture and we talk
Hmm.
about what was the process you
Yeah.
got in touch with.
Okay, that's a nice
Okay?
challenge. You're
Yeah.
giving me homeworks. Okay, good.
I like to give homework. I give homework myself always. So I want to ask you a lot of things, and I
Yeah.
will free yourself. Um, there are people that you're still following, and they are doing photography.
Um, I'm following a lot of visual artists, but like more I really like art, like painting and drawings. So I'm thinking about the Instagram, like very basic Instagram profiles I follow. And yes, there are a lot of these contemporary artists.
And just to know, what would you like to see more? As a consumer, in this case, what would you like to see more?
This kind of art that I just mentioned, like street art, like young people doing colorful and meaningful things outside, on the outside, that everyone can see, not just in a museum, not just on Instagram or anywhere, no, outside. And this is this is very, this is very common. It's becoming more and more common now here in Florence, that it's a very traditional place to, traditional art. We are starting seeing things outside, like visual artists doing street art, or street art galleries. They are, starting opening, and this is very nice. This is very interesting. I hope this is the future direction.
Which is nice also to hear, because I'm not in Florence from, I don't know, probably 7 years. I don't know. Last time I was in Florence was 7 years ago. And it was a bit, it was the postcard, let's say. It was a postcard. You called really, it was really nice. I have to consider as a tourist. I don't want to consider myself as a tourist, but as a foreign of the city, it was really nice to get in touch with the people who was going there. And there was a lot of, tourists, as you know. They was, in a way, deeply connected with the city, more than what I heard from Italians. This is probably something really particular, and that you cannot find in many cities. And it's something if I would have time and the space, I would work on. So, thank you a lot for your time.
Thank you, Emiliano. Nice. It was very nice. Very nice.
And if you want to watch the whole archive of Arianna, you can visit her on Lomography, and the link is in the description. And if you want comment in a way or joining this podcast, saying yours, you can use the last link in the description. So thank you again, Arianna, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, and if you want to learn more about us, you can visit the link allmylinks.com, Berlin Explorer, or our website beexproject.com. And if you want to follow us, you can always get news from Instagram on our account BEEX Project. Thank you again, and see you in the next episode.